Welcome to Midday News on Rajya Sabha television. All the developing news stories coming up ahead, including all news from the budget session of Parliament. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Here are the headlines first. Members raise issues of national interest during zero hour. Rajya Sabha slated to take up Special Economic Zones Amendment Bill 2019 today. Bill passed by Lok Sabha yesterday. Calling attention on climate change also listed in the upper house. Three key bills, including Central Educational Institutions Reservation in Teachers Cadre Bill 2019, introduced in Lok Sabha. House to also discuss Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill 2019, Aadhaar and Other Laws Amendment Bill 2019. Prime Minister Modi meets his Japanese counterpart Shinzo Abe in Osaka ahead of the G20 summit. Discusses issues of bilateral and regional importance. First, India-Japan 2+2 meeting to be held ahead of Abe's visit to India. Amit Shah chairs a high-level security meeting in Srinagar. Governor Satyapal Malik, top security and intelligence officials present in the meeting. Meets a family of J&K Police Sub-Inspector Arshad Ahmed Khan, killed on 12th of June in Anantnag terror attack. And in the run-up to the semi-finals, unbeaten India to take on West Indies in Manchester today. Pakistan keep themselves in the race with a 6-wicket win against New Zealand in Birmingham. First up, news from the Parliament and a look at the legislative business today. The Central Educational Institutions Reservation in Teachers Cadre Bill 2019 was moved and introduced a short while ago in the Rajya Sabha. Now, the bill aims to fill up more than 7,000 vacancies by direct recruitment in accordance with a new quota system. It will replace the Central Educational Institutions Reservation in Teachers Cadre Ordinance 2019.
जो सदस्य इसके पक्ष में कृपया हाँ कहें, जो सदस्य इसके विरोध में कृपया ना कहें। मेरे विचार में निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में हुआ है, निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में है। माननीय मंत्री जी अब विधेयक को पुनः स्थापित कर सकते हैं।
I introduce the bill.
Moved and introduced a short while ago in the Lok Sabha. And Union Minister Ashwini Kumar Chaubey moved and introduced the Indian Medical Council Amendment Bill 2019 to amend the Indian Medical Council Act 1956. Now, this bill is aimed at bringing in transparency, accountability and quality in the governance of medical education in the country. It also aims to provide for supersession of the Medical Council of India for a period of 2 years from August 2018. Now, Chaubey also moved and introduced the Dentists Amendment Bill 2019 to amend the Dentist Act 1948. This amendment will help restructure the dental councils, and the representation of the central government members and elected members will not be made mandatory now in the dental councils. All the three bills were introduced via voice vote.
महोदय, मैं अपने वरिष्ठ सहयोगी डॉक्टर हर्षवर्धन जी की ओर से प्रस्ताव करता हूं कि दंत चिकित्सक संशोधन विधेयक 2019 पुनर्स्थापित करने की अनुमति प्रदान की जाए।
प्रश्न ये है कि विधेयक को पुनः स्थापित करने की अनुमति दी जाए। जो सदस्य इसके पक्ष में कृपया हाँ कहें, जो सदस्य इसके विरोध में कृपया ना कहें। मेरे विचार में निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में हुआ है, निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में है। माननीय मंत्री जी अब विधेयक को पुनः स्थापित कर सकते हैं।
मैं विधेयक को पुनः स्थापित करता हूं।
So the three bills have been introduced, and there are two bills listed for consideration and passing. Ayush Minister Shripad Yesu Naik will move the Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill 2019 for consideration and passing. The bill, which amends the Homeopathy Central Council Act 1973, seeks to extend the period for reconstitution of the Central Council from an existing period of 1 year to 2 years. And Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad will move for consideration in passing the Aadhaar and Other Laws Amendment Bill 2019. This bill proposes the voluntary use of Aadhaar as an identity proof for opening of bank accounts and procuring mobile connections. The bill was introduced in Parliament on Monday and will replace the Aadhaar ordinance. All right, our colleague Pankaj Mishra is now joining us live from Parliament. A very good afternoon, Pankaj. Pankaj, now three key bills: the Indian Medical Council Bill, the Dentist Amendment Bill 2019 and the Central Educational Institutions Bill have been introduced in the Lok Sabha. And the House will also, discuss two key bills. One bill, of course, related to the Homeopathy Central Council and the other related to Aadhaar today. Give us an update and more information about these bills.
Aishwarya, the House is running very smoothly, and we had a question hour and also 0 hour, and also bills were introduced. And this afternoon, we are learning that this bill related to Aadhaar may be discussed. And this is a very crucial bill because after the Supreme Court verdict, the government has made a change in that by which Aadhaar will not be compulsory in all the government schemes and all enrollments. So Congress and opposition has its reservation in this bill. So we have to see that what type of debate there will be. But certainly the government want to pass it, and government has assured that all the security measures has been taken in this bill and according to the guidelines of Supreme Court. So this bill may come up in this afternoon in the Lok Sabha.
All right, Pankaj, you stay with us. We'll just come back to you. We also need to discuss about Rajya Sabha. Well, today in Rajya Sabha, the Special Economic Zones Amendment Bill 2019 will come up in the upper house for consideration and passing. The bill became the first legislation to be passed by the newly constituted 17th Lok Sabha yesterday. And in the post-lunch session, also a calling attention motion by SP MP Revati Raman Singh is also listed in today's business in the Rajya Sabha. And it will be on the situation arising out of the climate change in the country and also the steps taken by the government on the issue. The issue of climate change and water crisis is resonating in Parliament in this session, with the MPs cutting across party lines, raising this issue and calling for immediate steps to be taken. And earlier members raised important issues during 0 hour. Let's take a listen.
उड़ीसा में मैं 3 तारीख को सीवियर साइक्लोन फनी द्वारा बहुत से जिले प्रभावित हुए हैं। इसके बारे में मैं बोलना चाहती हूँ। सर, भौगोलिक दृष्टि से देखा जाए तो उड़ीसा एक साइक्लोन प्रभावित राज्य है। हर साल किसी ना किसी प्राकृतिक विपर्यय का सामना करना पड़ता है। इस सीवियर साइक्लोन फनी द्वारा लाखों करोड़ों लोग प्रभावित हुए हैं। जगन्नाथ धाम के साथ 13 जिला का 159 ब्लॉक्स आर अफेक्टेड हुआ है।
ये इसके बाद मैं कहूँ फिर भी रिकॉर्ड में नहीं जाएगा वहाँ, बिकॉज दैट्स ऑल कनेक्टेड।
सर अभी सर मानसून शुरू हो गया है। जो फनी प्रभावित जिलों में लोगों का रहने के लिए सर घर नहीं है, इसीलिए मैं सरकार से निवेदन करती हूँ जो बेघर हुए हैं उनके लिए प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना में नया घर सैंक्शन किया जाए।
विश्वविद्यालयों के अंदर होने वाली अध्यापकों की, विशेषकर असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर, एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर्स और प्रोफेसर्स की भर्ती का सरकार ने कई दिन की हीला हुज्जत के बाद 8 फरवरी को मानव संसाधन विकास मंत्री जी ने सदन को और देश को यह आश्वासन दिया कि हम 13 पॉइंट रोस्टर प्रणाली पर रोक लगाएंगे और पुरानी 200 पॉइंट्स की जो रोस्टर प्रणाली आरक्षण के संबंध में है उसको बहाल करेंगे। और 7 मार्च को सरकार की ओर से अध्यादेश पारित करने का निर्णय लिया गया, जो महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी ने उसी दिन प्रख्यापित भी कर दिया। पंजाब में कुल 156 सीटें विज्ञापित की गई हैं। आरक्षण के नियम के अनुसार पिछड़े वर्ग की सीटें, अनुसूचित जाति की सीटें और अनुसूचित जनजाति की सीटें 156 में से 75 होनी चाहिए, लेकिन इसमें हैं सिर्फ 50। कर्नाटक विश्वविद्यालय में 137 सीटें विज्ञापित की गई हैं, रिजर्व कैटेगरी की तीनों वर्गों को मिलाकर के सीटें हैं 68। तमिलनाडु केंद्रीय विश्वविद्यालय में 113 सीटें हैं जो विज्ञापित की गई हैं। पिछड़े वर्गों की होनी चाहिए 56, विज्ञापित की गई हैं 40। और अमरकंटक विश्वविद्यालय में जो इंदिरा गांधी राष्ट्रीय जनजाति विश्वविद्यालय है उसके अंदर 95 सीटें विज्ञापित की गई हैं, जिसके अंदर रिजर्व होनी चाहिए 47 लेकिन हैं 35। और इसमें कमाल की बात यह है कि ओबीसी वर्ग के लिए, अन्य पिछड़े वर्गों के लिए एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर और प्रोफेसर की एक भी नहीं है, चारों विश्वविद्यालय में उनकी संख्या है 0।
Marathi language has a tradition of more than 1,000 years of literary tradition. It is spoken by around 90 million people around the world, and it is the third most spoken language in India and the 19th largest spoken language in the world. And this eminently deserves to be called a classical language. Maharashtra government, sir, has given a proposal and fulfilled all the necessary requirements, but still the decision has not been taken. So I would like to urge the government through you, sir, to expedite this decision and do justice to Marathi-speaking world.
Let's go back to our colleague Pankaj Mishra, who's joining us live from Parliament. Pankaj, talking about Rajya Sabha now, of course, key issues were raised during 0 hour. We heard some of the key queries and issues raised during 0 hour. But talking about the legislative agenda, of course, the Special Economic Zones Amendment Bill 2019 is going to be moved for passage in the Rajya Sabha today. And, yesterday, while introducing the bill in Lok Sabha, Piyush Goyal had talked about the fact that how SEZs play a very important role in, promoting exports and economic growth of the country. So, very important bill lined up in the Rajya Sabha today.
Exactly, important bills lying up. But first of all, I want to tell you what this question hour and 0 hour. Very smooth question hour was there and many questions were answered. And in this question hour, the issue was raised about the new education policy. And HRD Minister assured that there will be 1 month more time to put their suggestions for this draft education policy. And also Smriti Irani, who is a women empowerment minister, she also talked about gender equality and all the other women related issues. She answered question also. But talking about legislation, this afternoon after the post lunch, there will be calling attention on this climate change and also a bill related to SEZ, as you mentioned. In the climate change, first of all, the members may ask about this agrarian crisis also. They may talk about the drought situation also, and minister has to respond on it. Prakash Javadekar is the in charge minister. And after that, government want to pass this SEZ bill as it is passed by Lok Sabha. But the Congress and opposition has some their reservations because they want to send it to, first of all, send to select committee to more consideration, and they are opposing the provision of a trust acquiring these CZ for different developments. So this is this legislation came in 2005 during the UPA time. So government want to go ahead with the same bill, but opposition wanted to send it to select committee. That's why Congress has issued a 3-line whip to its member also to remain present in the Rajya Sabha. So we have to see what will happen, but there are certainly it's a very important SEZ bill.
All right. Thank you so much, Panchanan, for all those updates there from Parliament. All right, now let's get to some other news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held talks with his Japanese counterpart Shinzo Abe in Osaka ahead of the G20 summit. The two leaders discussed a range of issues of mutual interest. Japanese Prime Minister referred to Prime Minister Modi's initiative in earlier G20 meetings on the issue of fugitive economic offenders. The two leaders also discussed global economy, global trade and data flow, as well as climate change. Prime Minister Modi thanked Abe for his warm welcome to him and the Indian delegation visiting Japan for the G20 summit. He also appreciated Japan's leadership as the G20 chairman. The Prime Minister said that President Ramnath Kovind will participate in the coronation ceremony of Emperor Naruhito in the month of October. Prime Minister Modi and Abe will also meet tomorrow in a JAI trilateral meeting, including Japan, India and America.
It was a very warm meeting. The two Prime Ministers are old friends and they had a very constructive and very detailed discussion on the bilateral relationship. Prime Minister Abe initially began with the expectations from the G20 meeting. He spoke about the importance of focusing on the global economy. He referred specifically to Prime Minister's initiative at earlier G20 meetings on the issue of fugitive economic offenders, and he said that the G20 should deal with this problem as part of its anti-corruption measures. The Prime Minister of Japan also referred to the need to find appropriate situations for global trade and data flows, and he felt that the G20 should come up with a very constructive message on the issue of climate change. Both of them then agreed that prior to his visit to India later in the year, a number of important meetings would take place, but the most important would be the first 2+2 ministerial meeting. This is a new format which was agreed to when Prime Minister visited Japan last year, in which the foreign affairs and defense ministers of the two countries will meet together.
Earlier, Prime Minister Modi arrived in Osaka for the G20 summit. He was accorded a very warm welcome at the Osaka airport. He was also welcomed by the people of the Indian community at the hotel. Now, this will be Prime Minister Modi's sixth G20 summit. Over the next 3 days, Prime Minister Modi will hold a range of bilateral as well as plurilateral engagements to articulate India's views on the global platform. And Indians are gathered to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Osaka. They're very excited and they have high expectations from him in his second term. Rajya Sabha TV correspondent Akhilesh Suman talked to the people of the Indian community who gathered in Osaka, and they gathered here from different parts of Japan to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Let's take a listen.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived in Osaka, and you can see these are the people. Some of them were there and some of them are still waiting there to meet Prime Minister, and they are having flags in their hand. Are you waiting for Prime Minister to meet?
Yes, I'm eagerly waiting to meet Prime Minister in the evening. There is a community event planned to have interaction with the Indian community in Japan, where Prime Minister will deliver a speech about India and Japan relations.
Okay, what are you waiting for?
I am also waiting for the speeches from Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi. I want to see how it goes when now India is at the 6th position in the world economy.
This morning we came from Tokyo actually to meet Prime Minister, and it was a good opportunity. So we really wanted to see how this G20 summit goes. It is basically a big summit where the policies will be made. And I participated in workshops, so I really want to see what kind of policies.
You came from Tokyo, I think a 2-hour journey at least.
By Shinkansen, but still very far from
Okay. And you?
I met Prime Minister very first time, and I was very excited to meet him, and I'm happy right now.
Why are you waiting for Prime Minister so eagerly?
So actually last year I met him at Kobe last year also, and I really appreciate, I really love him and I respect him. So yeah, I really like him, so I want to meet him.
Okay, so you can see that people from different parts of India who are living in Japan, they have traveled hours together to meet Prime Minister and see him. I think it is very interesting time for them, and they also get encouraged when their Prime Minister come here and when the Prime Minister interacts here, and they will love to see that how Prime Minister talks to G20 leaders, so that interest of the country is over everything all over the world. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Prasanta Karmakar in Osaka of Japan.
And in fact, Akhilesh Suman is now joining us live from Japan. Akhilesh, talking about a very important meeting that Prime Minister Narendra Modi today had with the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. And of course, he is also going to hold another meeting with him tomorrow along with Donald Trump. There's going to be a trilateral meeting tomorrow. But what are the takeaways from today's meeting of the Prime Minister with the Japanese Prime Minister?
Right, telling you earlier also that this meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is not just a courtesy meeting before the G20 summit. It is actually, it was a very substantive meeting, and the way Foreign Secretary briefed us, I think it is self-explanatory that they have decided how they have to go further in the future. And you know that one of the major things that has come out from this meeting is 2+2 ministerial level meeting between India and Japan. And this type of arrangement is only between India and USA till now, but now India is going to another country, India and Japan. There will be 2+2 meeting. That means foreign minister and defense minister of both the sides will sit together and deliberate. So I think this is one of the most exclusive thing that has come out today from the meeting of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Foreign Secretary himself said this. So in that way you can understand that the way relationship between India and Japan is deepening, and the way Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Shinzo Abe talked today in the morning, they also decided that how they have to go in future, also in the G20 summit, that what will maybe the major takeaway from the summit. And also, you know, that the way India has been raising the issue of terrorism, and G20, that is considered historically basically of a forum that gives a boost to the economy, because this is the forum when, you know, 20 countries of the world who almost hold 84% and more of the economic and financial resources, they are sitting together. And in that meeting, I think terrorism is going to be one of the major things, that how terrorism is destroying the further economic boost up in the world. Other than that, you know, the climate change is also one of the major things that came between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and, you know, Shinzo Abe, and India and France that has taken initiative in International Solar Alliance. I think Japan also wills to, you know, support this, and how technologically it can help this International Solar Alliance. I think that is also very important. Other than that, you know, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi invited him to come to Delhi for the summit level meeting, and he also mentioned specifically that Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was the first foreign dignitary who called him and congratulated him after you know, he won the election this time. So I think the you know, emotions were flowing from both the sides. Both the sides were talking like very good friends, and I think that tomorrow also there will be some meeting between the two.
All right,
you know,
absolutely. So very important bilateral meeting held with the Japanese Prime Minister. There are, of course, other bilaterals also slated, Akhilesh. So what are the further engagements of the Prime Minister at the G20 summit now?
Yes, there is long list of engagement of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He came today early morning, and you know that he is quite busy. And if I tell you the list of how many engagements he will be having, it is almost 19 engagements that I know. 9 bilaterals he is holding here in Osaka of Japan. Other than 9 bilaterals, he is also holding, you know, 5 pool-aside meeting. Pool-aside meeting, that means that on the side of summit, he also talks informally to various world leaders. So 5 pool-aside is decided. Other than 5 pool-aside, there are 2 meetings with UN Secretary General and also President of the World Bank. And then there will be another 3 multilateral, and 3 multilaterals are very important. That multilateral is BRICS, J. J means Japan, America and India, and you know that RIC, Russia, India and China. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be having 9 plus 5 plus 2 plus 3. So the way he keeps himself busy and the way he tries to engage with all the fora in the world other than bilateral. So I think this is, you know, giving you a hint that how Prime Minister deeply utilizes all the opportunities that he can interact with the world leaders, and also he can interact with various communities. So today evening he is also going to talk to Indian community here, and he also spread the message that, you know, how India raised the issue of development and how he came in power for the 2nd term, and what he wishes to do with the India as a nation, and also how he wants to develop India further. So I think this is a very well communication, and people who are living here in Japan, they want to know that what is the plan for India, and I think Prime Minister is going to tell them that what he plans for India.
Absolutely. So Prime Minister is going to have a very busy day today and tomorrow as well at the G20 summit. Of course, all eyes will be on his meeting with Donald Trump tomorrow. We have to wait and watch what transpires in that meeting. Thank you so much, Akhilesh, for all those updates there from Japan. And back home, Union Home Minister Amit Shah chaired a high-level security meeting in Srinagar today. On a two-day visit to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, the Home Minister reviewed the overall security situation in the state with special emphasis on the restoration of peace in Kashmir and counter-insurgency operations. State Governor Satyapal Malik, top security officials, heads of various intelligence agencies and paramilitary forces were present in the meeting. This is Amit Shah's first official visit to the state as the Home Minister. Amit Shah also visited the family of Jammu and Kashmir Police Inspector Arshad Ahmed Khan, who was killed in a terror attack in Anantnag on 12th of June. And earlier on Thursday, Amit Shah chaired a high-level meeting of civil administration officials and the top bosses of various security agencies in the state. He was also briefed about the steps taken for ensuring smooth and safe conduct of the annual Amarnath Yatra, which is due to commence on 1st of July. And now all the action from the ICC Cricket World Cup. An unbeaten team India will face West Indies in Old Trafford in Manchester today. Now India are on the verge of securing a World Cup semi-final berth. They need 2 more wins in 4 matches to seal their semi-final spot. And the West Indies, on the other hand, are out of the top 4 race and they will look to finish on a high note. The match will begin at 3 p.m. India time. And talking about yesterday's very interesting clash, Pakistan continued their revival in the World Cup by halting New Zealand's unbeaten run with a 6-wicket victory. The New Zealand team set a target of 238 runs for Pakistan. And Pakistan, with the win, have now moved up to the 6th spot in the points table. They have 7 points. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Midday News. Thanks so much for your time.